what's going on, guys? It's been a while since I made a video like this where I just kind of sit down, talk with you guys. And I honestly really make missing videos like this. We used to talk about like hidden gems on the original Xbox, on the PS2, well, really just any console in general, and just, you know, game recommendations. So today I decided that we bring those types of videos back, and today I decided that we talk about 5 indie games that you should play but probably haven't, or whatever I end up titling this video. Let's not waste any time, let's get right into it. The first indie game that I'm going to recommend is A Short Hike. This indie game is absolutely amazing, and I believe that it's also still available on Game Pass, but even if not, it goes on sale all the time, and it's on literally every console under the sun, including like the Nintendo Switch, the Xbox One, the PS4, etc. The game is exactly what the title says. It's a short hike. So basically, the premise of the game is pretty simple. You're playing as this cute little bird, and you're just trying to make it to the top of this mountain so then you have enough reception to make a phone call home. However, as basic of a task as that may seem, the entire game is basically your journey up to the top of the mountain. The game isn't too long. You can beat it within like what, 2.5 hours tops probably on your first playthrough, and it's one of those things where it's almost like a lesson for life. Sometimes it's not about the destination. It's sort of like the road trip type thing, right? Where it's like, it's less about the destination, where as nice as the destination may be, and as much as that may be your end goal, it really is all about your journey and the things and the people that you encounter along the way. And it's such an amazing, beautiful game. I don't want to say too much about it because there's so many little things that you experience throughout this game, so many people you interact with, so many like small little interactions, and to say anything about this game would honestly be to spoil it. So please, if you have Game Pass, I think it's still on Game Pass, but even if it's not, it goes on sale all the time. I highly recommend it. Next up, we have a game called Omnos. So this is essentially sort of like your journey type games, you know what I mean, where it's a silent game. There's no dialogue, there's nothing like that, but there's text all throughout the game. With every new level and section of the world that you go to, you're picking up on more and more pieces of lore. You're like kind of connecting the dots, piecing the story together. It's never hand-fisted to you, like you're never outright told anything about the story. Again, there's no dialogue in the game. There's very few cutscenes, and for what cutscenes there are, they're all happening in real time just to like take you from one location to the next. But this game is absolutely gorgeous. Even if you don't care about the lore, even if you don't care about the story, that's okay, because the interactions that you and your little like sidekick have in the game is just, oh, it's so adorable, especially by the end of the game. It's one of those things where, again, I'm not gonna spoil it, but the ending literally choked me up. I cried when I got to the ending for the first time. Another amazing thing about this game, and I love this in games, is you can interact with as much of the game as you want to, or as little as you want to. If you want to, you can literally blast through this game in like 2.5, 3 hours tops, just go through, get through the levels, that's that, and you would still have an enjoyable time, or you can go through and collect everything. And even if you choose to do that, collect everything, do all the puzzles, it might only add like maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours tops onto your playthrough, but even when you're going for everything, it never becomes tedious. Like, it's still so much fun solving all these puzzles, getting all these collectibles. The soundtrack is absolutely superb. It is beautiful. The art style is beautiful. The traversal throughout the world, like the gadgets that you have and the different ways that you can traverse and the different skills you unlock by the end of the game, it's so fluid. There's just something about the graphics, again, in this game, between the graphics and the art style, there's something about the way that the reflections and the lighting works, and the light rays from the sky. Oh, it's beautiful. The next game I want to talk about is a game called Lake. So this one is, I feel like this goes for really all the games on this list, but the less said about it, the better. But basically, to give you the premise, the game takes place in the 1980s when computers were first getting big, and you're playing as this girl named Meredith, and she has an office job. You know, she's kind of tired of her job, the same day-to-day life, so she takes a vacation to her hometown, which she hasn't visited in 22 years. It is called Providence Oaks, and basically during those 2 weeks, her parents are going on vacation, and her father is the mailman for this little town. So while you're going on vacation at the same time that your parents are going on vacation. I'm sorry, I'm doing a terrible job explaining this, but anyway, so while you're going on your vacation to your hometown, you're also picking up your father's job, since he is also going away as mailman for this small town. And basically, you play through the 14-day vacation that Meredith takes, and it's basically, it doesn't say outright that it's USPS, but it's obvious that it's USPS. So, you know, you have off Sundays. So there's 2 Sundays in the game that you get to play through, which really cool things happen during there depending on the decisions that you make during the game and what like dialogue choices you make. And it's not one of those games where there's necessarily a bad ending in the game. It's just more or less what ending will you get, what will you interact with. There's never really any consequences or anything too bad that happens from not interacting with one thing or another, or choosing one dialogue thing or another. It's very similar to Omno, where it's like, how much do you want to engage with? You can engage with as little as you want or as much as you want. And when I played this game, I interacted with literally like everything that I could. I did everything that I could. I accepted all of the opportunities that I could in the game. Again, it's a very simple premise. You spend the entirety of the game just driving around delivering mail, but in between delivering mail, that's where you can pick up like different side quests to do with different people, whether that be watching a movie with the one teenager because her parents wouldn't allow her to watch said movie, or whether it's watching somebody's cats for a couple of hours in the evening while they go get their hair done. There's lots of small side quests like that throughout the game that you can pick up on as, you know, you're delivering mail and interacting with all the people in the small town. And, you know, it may sound very basic and possibly even boring on paper, but I promise as soon as you pick it up and you play it, it'll all click. It's one of those slice of life games. It's real chill. When I played this game, it was one of those games where it was in the right place at the right time. And by right place, I mean on my hard drive, and at right time, I mean I was just, you know, I was honestly just really anxious, really stressed out, just needed something to help me decompress. And this game was perfect for that. It's an amazing game. I highly recommend it. It's available on PS Plus Extra right now, so if you have that subscription service, you can go download it there. Otherwise, it's another one where I've seen it on sale a couple of times, so it might be worth waiting for a sale, but it's a great game. The fourth game that I'm going to recommend is Midnight Fight Express. This was available on Game Pass day one, and now it is available over on PlayStation Plus Extra, but man, this game is amazing. It's like John Wick Simulator, basically. You have all these crazy combos you can do with the game. You're able to pick up all these different weapons in the game. Like, basically, the environment is your weapon. You see a chair, you can kick it at your enemy, or you can pick it up and throw it at their face. Oh, you see that bottle on the floor? Smash it over his head, do a quick roll to the other guy, disarm him, kick him in the face, shoot him in the face with his own gun, take his gun, shoot everybody else in the room. Oh, you want to take that guy and throw him off the roof? You can do that. You want to suplex him and snap his neck on the ground? You can do that. There is a story here, and you can focus on it if you want, or you can focus on the gameplay. Again, it's one of those games where you can interact with the story, or you cannot. You want to blast through it in a couple of hours? Sure. You want to interact with everything and go back and replay the levels at 100% every level and complete all the challenges? You can do that as well. One thing I will say, though, is the story of this game gets a little crazy. I wasn't expecting some of the twists and turns that happened towards the end, but it was worth engaging with the story. It was so good. I am literally praying that we either see a sequel or like a spiritual successor to this. It's such a good game. And even if it is just a one-off game, that's okay, because I'm a firm believer in that not every game needs to become a franchise, not every game needs a sequel, not every game even needs like a spiritual successor or a reboot. Even if this is just a one-off game, even then I'd be completely okay with it. But that being said, if the devs would ever want to make like a game in this fashion again, I'm there for it. And this is definitely one of those games where if you normally turn off like the vibration on your controller, I recommend leaving the vibration on, because it's one of those things where it's not there too much to where it's annoying, but it actually does benefit the feedback loop in the game. Like when you're shooting and the vibration, like it's not a hardcore vibration like in some games how it literally makes your hands numb after a while. Like it's a very soft vibration, but it works, trust me. And then the last game that I want to talk about today is Trek to Yomi. And fun fact, this was actually my game of the year for 2022. This game is just, it's so good. Where do I begin with Trek to Yomi? This is a Souls-like, Sekiro-like, 2D action linear story game. It's just, I don't even know how to describe it. So it's sort of like a Souls-like / Sekiro-like in its combat. You know, it's very deliberate. It's very timing-based. You gotta find your windows. Sometimes you're gonna have to parry or deflect like you would in Sekiro. On a first playthrough, it is tough as nails. Like if you've never touched a Souls game before, yeah, you're probably gonna struggle with this one. But if you have some experience with Souls games or like Sekiro or other games similar in the past, you'll probably get by just fine. I know for me personally, the difficulty was like just right. It was never too tough to where it felt like BS. It was just fine-tuned to that perfect extent where I was like, yes, this works. This is it. This is perfect. There's so many things I can compliment about this game. So let's go ahead and just break it down piece by piece without spoiling anything, because there is a lot of story in this. I mean, the game is mainly gameplay focused, but there is a very engaging story to be found here. So first off, the first obvious thing that you can see on your screen right now, now. The graphics and the art style, it's based off of those like old school, you know, like Japanese samurai movies. And I am a sucker for movies like that, let me just say that. So as soon as I turned the game on for the first time, I knew immediately what they were going for. It clicked for me immediately. It's a gorgeous game. It is very cinematic, and by cinematic, I don't mean cinematic in the typical normal sense, you know, modern day. Every time somebody says cinematic, you think, oh, okay, you know, they do everything in their power to make the game feel very linear, you know, a lot of set pieces, a quick time event. No, not cinematic like that. I just mean like the camera angles and the way that they made the game look. Like, it's a very cinematic looking game, but you're in control the entire time. Cinematic never interferes with the gameplay. It's entirely gameplay focused. It's just they make it look as cinematic as possible while doing that, and it works. Everything in the sound department is literally perfect. Music, sound effects, sound design, the way that you can hear like the swords clashing every time that you parry, and the way that the music ends up lining up with the combat almost perfectly, even though it's not a rhythm game. Somehow the music just always works perfectly with the combat and the flow and like the beats per minute of the combat. And you hear the rain hitting the floor and the swords clashing and the echoes and like, you know, when the buildings that you're fighting in, it's just, oh, it works so beautifully. And again, the combat, I mean, that kind of ties in with the difficulty. Like, it's so fine-tuned. It's literally perfect. Like, if it was any harder, it would be too hard. If it was any easier, it would be too easy. It's literally perfect where it's at right now. And the gameplay, you know, it's never clunky. It's never frustrating. It's deliberate, but it's not too punishing. Like, I'm trying to think of a way. Think of it like a Souls-like, right? Like, it's deliberate. When you hit the buttons, you have to make them count. If you're gonna parry, you are, you know, you're locked into that parry. Every time you slash your enemy, you're committing to that slash. It was on Game Pass a while ago, but I don't think it's on there anymore. It was added to the PS Plus Extra tier a little while ago, so I would recommend picking it up there if you have a PS4. Otherwise, either wait for a sale or pick it up full price. It's such an amazing game, worth every penny. And like I said, it was literally my game of the year for 2022. Like, it was that good. But anyway, that was 5 indie games that everyone should play, but you probably have something, whatever I ended up titling this video. I apologize. I know this video is a bit scatterbrained. I think next time I'm gonna write down some notes before I make this video, because yeah, I can even feel it right now. Like, my brain is all over the place. Like, I went into it thinking I knew what I wanted to say about each game, but it's just, there's so many things that I can compliment about these games. Like, my brain was just going all over the place because I didn't want to drag this video out, and I also didn't want to spoil anything about the games, but it's just, oh, there's so many compliments, so many great things I can say about all 5 of the games that I talked about here, and so many more. So if you want to follow up to this video, just let me know. Next time, I'll write down some notes, or maybe even like a little mini script just to kind of help me stay on course, because I know I was really scatterbrained here. Now, I'd definitely love to hear from you guys. What are some indie games that you guys love? Also, let me know if you played any of the games on this list, but whatever it is, whatever you're thinking, I'd definitely love to hear from you guys. Anyway, as always, a massive shout out, thank you to all the patrons and channel members, thank you to all of you in the low baller tier, and even bigger shout out, thank you to all of you in the big baller tier, Metal Asking and Big Daddy Manny, and the biggest shout out, thank you to all of you in the G's tier, Ryan Avengers, and Little Cheese Girl. Thank you guys so much. You guys are literal legends. I love you. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.